Hey everybody, welcome to the Lone Tinker channel. Today I've got this Porter Cable pancake air compressor. This is a curb find. This was about a block from my house. Someone had set it out and left it for dead. A lot of times people will leave scrap metal out, and there's people that will come around and pick that stuff up, and then they'll take it and get it weighed on a scale, and then they get a little bit of money for the steel or whatever they take out of it. So this is a it's 2.6 or 6 gallon compressor, and these range in price from anywhere, I don't know, you see all kinds of prices on these things. Harbor Freight sometimes sells them for like $60 or something like that, but you see something better, they're like in the 150, 175, $200 range, and they're all kind of the basic same thing. It's your a 6 gallon or 3 gallon tank, and then you got your tank pressure and your regulator pressure you get to pick, and then you can set it with this. So a lot of times what will happen with these is they you either get a hole in the tank, or there's a valve in here that fills up the tank or that allows air to get into the tank, and there's a rubber seal for that, and that rubber seal will go bad, so that any air that's produced just gets it just goes out of the unit. It doesn't get put into the tank. So I'll demo this and show you what it does. I did plug it in once, I think during the summer when I got it, and obviously I knew it wasn't going to work, but I wanted to see what it did if the compressor ran. So if the compressor didn't run, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do anything with it that might be a little bit, go beyond what it would make sense to repair. In other words, if the compressor's bad, why bother fixing it? Probably not worth it. So when I ran this, as you could see, there's no pressure being built up inside the tank. The other thing I noticed there is a pressure release valve here. So when the tank's full, if it gets over full, I should say, this valve would pop and it would blow the extra air out. It's just got a spring behind it, spring loaded. And I could feel air coming out of the sides, and put my hand here to make sure these valves look like they're working like they're supposed to. So I'm gonna start tearing into this. I'll unplug it first, of course, and then I'll start trying to see if I can figure out why there's no air coming into the tank. Well, there might be one screw in the middle there. some kind of a fastener in there, but I can't see what it is. There's lots of wood or something jammed in there. Boy, I still can't tell what that is. It is a Torx. Wow, first try. I got Allen wrenches, metric and standard, and then I got my torque wrenches out too. So this is T. Oh geez, I can't even read that. T10 maybe. Yeah, T10. It's a lot of work to get one stupid little cover off. Okay. These have cobwebs in them. All right, and that is that might be, can't tell what that is. This is a Torx as well. Man, I'm getting really lucky on these. This one is a T20. And I think what it is I can see the screw. There must be a nut. Hopefully it's a captive nut on the front here. I think there's a couple more Torx in here. One of them is in there really far. I'm gonna have to see if I can get an extension that will fit that guy. And then there's Torx on the back here too to take the handle off. I'm assuming the handle has to come off as well. And that's T20. Right, since my T20 was too short, had to buy new longer ones with longer handles on them, longer shafts, I guess. This is an Amazon purchase. These got fairly decent reviews. The handles, I guess these rubber things come off of there. They're just like a separate glued on piece. So I guess maybe if you're really wrenching on stuff, you'll have trouble with these coming off. So I forget how long these stupid things are, but it's kind of overkill, but I needed it for this one project. I think I paid $16, $18 US for this. So it is what it is. I can use them for some other project someday. I guess I could have made one of these too, and I thought about it after I ordered it. I could have just taken my short-handled T20 and cut the thing off and take an old screwdriver and make a longer handle for it. That would have been cheaper, but I would have had a not so cool looking handle when I got done. Or a shaft when I got done. So I just decided to buy some. See if I got enough screws out here to take this apart now. Come on. I'm missing. I can't tell if that's a Torx or a screw down here. That's actually a screw. And that doesn't look like it needs to come out to get this thing out of here. So what am I missing? Stand by. Okay, so there's, I guess I don't remember if it was this side or not, but there's Phillips head screws right where you might slide these guys out. So I think, yeah, I can feel this getting loose. So I think you might have to remove these Phillips screws, which on the other side, they're like right here. They're kind of hidden. So I'm hoping that that was enough to get this to slide out. Yeah, that's good. All right, I need to remove some clamps to get this the rest of the way out. You can see this is going to be in the way. So I got to remove this. I'll have to cut these clamps and hopefully Hopefully I can use just a regular hose clamp to put that back together again. This tank should be completely empty. Yep. So I still need to remove this nut or whatever from this other side. So hopefully that's easy to do. Yes, it slides, looks like it slides out this way, so I just need to figure out if I can get this other thing apart. I may actually have to cut the valve on this side, or cut the hose, I mean. I really can't get in there. Oh, maybe I can. So I only had to slide it a little bit because these little standoffs here aren't very wide, so I slid it and it lifted right up. So, and I did not look at any videos ahead of time to see how this thing goes together, so I don't know what we're gonna find in here. Let's try to figure that out. Not much to it. So I'll admit, I did look at other videos in the past to see what kind of failures these have, but I didn't actually see anything about how to take it apart. So this, oh, my feet are falling off. So this right here is the compressor part of it. This motor spins this little compressor, and I guess maybe you can see how the piston goes in and out. The fan's interfering. It doesn't want to. This doesn't want to turn because the fan is getting caught in the wires. Okay, before I go too far, I want to make sure that there is indeed no air coming out of here. So I need to put this back together. Okay, so I wasn't even close. It goes like this somehow. Yeah, like that. Make sure the fan can spin. Okay, so I'm going to plug this in and make sure, see if we got air coming out. I'll have to watch a little bit because this thing's going to want to move around. All right, let's give it a try. Okay, so there is a lot of air coming out of here. So, good. So that tells me that this seal must still be good in here. The part with the piston that I was showing you before. So there must be something going on with the valves on the front there that's keeping it from building pressure. So, or it could be this hose here where that comes out. So I'll have to try to figure out and see if we can look at this. It's got a little bit warm in that little bit of time running. Oh, okay, I'm dumb. Okay, it's a little bit hard to see, but this this tube comes out of the tank. So the tank is filling this, and this is where your air comes up out of the tank, and then you have your two valves. So there must be something going on with this arrangement here. So I wonder if I can spray this with soapy water and see where the air is coming out. I'm going to give that a try. Didn't like that. Some little feet in here. They came out, so that maybe I need that to be in there for this to not rattle around so much. See if that's good enough. not seeing any leaks coming out of this valve assembly right here. So I'm gonna take this apart. I'm not sure where this air hose goes, so I'm gonna see if I can figure that out, because this still isn't, it's not building any pressure at all. All right, see if we can get this to work. So I looked at this a couple times and I wasn't sure what I was looking at. So get my flashlight here if I can find it. See if we can see in there or not. So way in the back, that red wire and black wire, well, red wire and yellow wire. Sorry, this light does not work very good for this. There's a switch back there, and I'm guessing that's that's actuated by air. So I'm gonna guess that if I, let's see, how would that thing work? I'm thinking that valve closes based on, let's see, we got, yeah, so we got, this is the yellow wire right here. So I'm gonna guess that if this is running, then that valve is probably supposed to close. That would make sense to me. And then if it's closed, then that's gonna allow no air to pass through this tube right here. So if that's closed, then this will seal up this whole thing. So I'm guessing that valve, when power is applied to it, is supposed to close. So how can I test that? I'll have to think about that for a second. Okay, so I'm not sure how good this is going to show up, but I took this valve out. This is kind of a known place for these to, I'm going to have to get something to pull those out, but the seal is kind of a known thing to fail. And I want to look at this first before I look at that valve in the back. Off camera, I sprayed the valve from the back where the hose comes in. So where this guy comes in from the back, I sprayed that. I don't see any air leaks. And on this, I can't see, you can't spray, I guess maybe I could have, but you can't really spray glass cleaner or soapy water in here, because you just can't see whether or not this seal is in here is bad or not. So I'm going to take this seal out. We can take a look at it. So I did cheat, and I did a little bit of Googling when I didn't immediately find what was wrong. And they point to this valve in here as being bad. And so I'm going to take that apart and I'll show you what we got. So this does have a seal on the outside of it, and it's very flat. I don't know if it's supposed to be round or not, but it's very, very flat. You almost can't even see it, that it's in there. I guess I don't know how close I can hold this where you can still see it, but so that doesn't stick out at all. So let's see what else we got in here. So there's an Allen screw up here. I'm going to look at that and make sure that doesn't need to come loose. for the rest of this to come out. So there's a rubber piece in here, and I'm gonna look at this a little bit more. I apologize, this is probably going to be flashy. I apologize, this is probably going to be flashy, but there is a, looks like there's this plastic piece in here screws out. So we'll take that out and look at it. So I got this taken apart here. I'll show you the pieces that I found inside. So here are the pieces that were inside there. There's the cap, and then this was inside here. Okay, so here are the pieces that I found inside. There's the cap, and then this was behind the cap, and then this piece screws into the inside of the unit there, and you can see this O-ring is pretty much completely bad, and then, or this seal I should say, and then there's a seal on here which I mentioned is very flat, and I think that should be round, so I'm going to see if I have something like that. And then that's about it. This cap, doesn't look like there's anything else in here that comes apart, so that's it for that. So I'm going to look through my seals. Oh, and then this spring was in the back behind all of this stuff, so I got to make sure I get that back in. And there is another spring. This spring goes inside the lid. Okay, I got my pieces laid out here. I'll show you what I replaced. So this, I don't know if I really need to replace this, and I'm not sure if this will work or not, but so this O-ring is a flat O-ring, and I think it's probably supposed to be that way. I replaced it with a round O-ring, and we'll see if that actually works. I don't know if that will work or not. The spring should be able to push that back and forth as needed. And then this is the piece that's screwed in, and this has an O-ring on the back of it. Again, it's flat, and so, but there's air leaking from somewhere, and I'm not sure exactly where. So this is the piece that screws in. I put a new seal on that, and then this piece goes all the way in the back, and it's just a little piece of plastic. I guess I should look in here real quick and make sure there's not another seal inside there. All right, I'll look at that again off camera. But so I was going to put this all back together. I've got some Vaseline I was going to use to hopefully make the seals move in and out easier. I don't know if it's probably even necessary, but I'll go ahead and put it in there and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to cheat on this a little bit. I'm going to put some of this Vaseline. Hopefully this will work. Put some of this Vaseline on the end of this here on the spring, because the spring doesn't want to stay in there. So I'm going to try to do this, and then the other thing I really need to do is I need to find something I can use to screw this guy back in, because it's too, the slot is too wide to just use a regular screwdriver. All right, so I found this can opener, paint can opener, and I'm going to try to use that. I'm going to put a little bit of Vaseline on this new O-ring that I put in there, and hopefully that will do the job. All right, I need to find all my rubber pieces so I can put this back together again. Okay, that one's there, that one's there. This one goes here. And I think this one goes here. All right, Let's see if we can get this back together without everything coming back apart. Okay, for the moment I'm going to do like I did last time, and I'm just going to put the back on temporarily. See if we got this working again. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so I opened up the drain plug to let where you let the water out, and I'm going to put air in here and see if I can figure out where the air is coming back out of. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. I got about 40 pounds in here. Okay, I'm wondering if the valve, the drain valve is not sealing, because I don't hear, when I put air inside there, I don't hear anything out here leaking. So I'm gonna play with the drain valve, and see if that might be a problem. Let's take a look at something real quick here. I think we might have found out what was wrong. There's no drain plug in here. Interesting. I guess maybe we need to start with the basics next time. All right, I need to find a bolt that will fit in there. I wonder if I have something on hand. Okay, I did a little bit more reading, and I figured out that this nut right here is actually, it looks like a nut, but it's an insert, and it's a NPT, a 1/4 inch NPT 18 thread, I think. And this just screws out, and inside here is threads for a bolt that goes in that you pull out completely, and you drain the water out. If the compressor like this, water will, pretty much any compressor, I guess, water will condense inside here, and you want to make sure you drain it out. So it looks to me like somebody took this nut, this bolt out, and it's just like a wing nut. You can just loosen it and take it out. Looks like they might have taken it out and drained it, and then forgot to put the bolt back in, or lost it. I'm not sure exactly. It's possible that it could have vibrated loose, although I would be a little bit surprised by that. So what I did, I don't have it here in front of me, but I'm going to remove this nut, and then I have a fitting with a valve in it, and I'll show that to you here in just a second. And I'll replace this insert with that valve. Oh, now it's stuck in the wrench. All right, I can look at that later, but I'll show you the valve I got. This is just, I'm going to put some thread tape on here, and then that should just screw right in there. Oh, I was hoping that was 5/8 as well, but it is not. All right, I'm going to call that good. All right, let's try this again. I'm hopeful that this should work now. Okay, so that shut off about almost 110 psi, and I'm not sure. My understanding was it was supposed to go up to 150, but I guess I don't really know. And then this is your, oh, that is 150. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. So I thought these were flipped. So this is your regulated control. As you can see, you can set how many psi are coming out of this valve right here. So this, and then there's a shut off inside here. I showed you guys that earlier, and that's what opens. It turns the motor off at 150. So then, if this drops below a certain amount, that probably kicks back on again. Okay, so this was a little bit of an odd repair for me. Kind of a summary on it is this was a curb find down the street. It was sitting out in front of somebody's house. Didn't know anything about it, brought it home, plugged it in, and you could hear the compressor running. You could hear air flowing, so I assumed there's air coming from somewhere. I did a little bit of reading on these and found that the valve part of this can sometimes go bad on them, and it will start to leak. In my case, it was something completely different. It was the valve itself, the drain valve, that was missing, and that's why this didn't work. So, and I'll show you if I be able to hear this. If I turn my valve here, I'm going to turn this off first because I don't want it to start up again. So you can hear the air rushing out that's in the tank. And if I turn this on, oh, it's not running back yet, but that's fine. So that the air plug missing kept this from running, which I guess would be expected. And I didn't know this had a drain plug on it. Most of them do have a drain plug. I never even really thought about it, that it could potentially be open. So I ended up, I took this all apart, as you saw. Didn't really find anything. And then I put when I put everything back together, I still had an air leak. So what I decided to do was, after I figured out it did have a drain plug, I decided I would loosen. So that bolt that I showed you with the insert that I still can't get out of here. Let's see if I can get this out of here. All right, so what I was saying, so with this insert, this was in there, but there was no bolt in the middle like there's supposed to be. And I didn't realize that there was a bolt. I thought this just opened and closed to let the air in and out. That's how I thought this worked. I didn't realize there was actually a bolt that came in and out. On my other air compressor, there is a little wing nut on the bottom that you loosen, and the air and the water comes out, whereas this one physically has a bolt that you have to take out. So when I decided I would try to push air in through the valve on the bottom, or the drain port, to see if this would build pressure, that's when I finally realized that this bolt was missing out of the bottom. And I started to look to see if I could find a new bolt. And when I searched on Amazon, I actually got a part number for this bolt, which I think is probably a standard. Well, maybe it's not a standard thread. I don't know. It might be an MPT thread. But the back part of this is indeed an MPT thread, and I used that 1/4 inch unit that I mentioned here. So this is what I ended up using on mine for that valve. So, and that works good. So I'm going to put this all back together. This video probably is way longer than it needed to be, but got one dumb thing that was actually the problem that I didn't notice. So had I noticed that, this would have been an extremely quick fix. The air compressor I'll put back together again. So these cost new anywhere from $150 to $175, $150 to $180 US dollars. There are lots of competitors out there. Harbor Freight makes one, and theirs is like $150 or something like that. I think they're probably all of similar quality. It could be they all come from the same place. So this was free. I bought the valve for it, for the drain, and that was about $5.50. I paid for a set of these torque wrenches. That was about $18, but obviously this is just something I can use over and over again, so I really wouldn't consider that part of the cost. I replaced a couple of O-rings in here, and I had a set of O-rings, you know, the big boxes of O-rings, and overall I would say, you know, it was pennies per O-ring for that. And the O-rings were probably not necessary, because as we found out, it was the drain plug that was not working, or the drain plug that was open, and that was causing all the air to leak out. So I probably spent maybe 3 hours working on it to get it working. I think that or maybe a little bit less. And obviously there was a lot of tearing down that I did that wasn't necessary. But I think it was a good education to get to look inside it, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing how they work, see what's inside. So this is all ready to go. I will probably put it to use. I have a large air compressor, but there's times when I would rather not just start that up. I could definitely benefit from something small like this. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like, please share, please subscribe, share with your friends. Until next time, thank you for watching the Lone Tinkerer channel.